All right. All right. So this is episode 15. This is all one topic. So we'll see how this goes. I make no guarantees. Okay. This one is entitled Unconsciously Conscious to Your Will. Knock knock. Who's there? You. And this is no joke. Okay. Let's say I believe you. What do you want? I want to partner and blend with you. Partner and blend for what purpose? To share in the experience you are just beginning to take. What experience are you referring to? Your shift from one reality to another while still alive. Okay, what do you know about it? I know much and can guide you through it. Oh, hold up. Is this where you take over my body and I'm just along for the ride? No, actually the opposite is true. I wish to be along for the ride. Hmm, you're going to have to explain that. I have this rule against hitchhikers. Very well. I am another existence of you, from another time and another place. I received a sense of your expansion, meaning your ability to take on more of your existence. I believe you refer to it as the multidimensional you, and I am now tapping into your increased capacity to offer my services as guide in exchange for getting to share in your experience of your jump from this reality to the one you set your course on. Okay, what's in it for me and how does it work? Good questions. Let's see how much of this you can handle. As your guide, I would be as a second conscious, but unlike your ego, which I sensed you comparing me to just now, I work for you, not against you. Your ego is a program to augment your current reality, but instead of having an objective to expand and push you forward with growth, it is meant to hold you to this reality. I, however, have no wish to hold you in place. Quite the contrary. My intent is to share in the experience of expansion, and I can't do that if you are stuck in one place. So I offer my previous experience to you as a guide in making it the most we can make it. This will appear to you as a sense of prescience of what could be when making decisions. You will still make your own decisions, but with the added benefit of my experience in your decision making. I will also know what you know and can factor in your wants into my sense. In full disclosure, you have always been guided, although you were not cognizant of it in this reality, as your awareness was turned down to simulate being alone. Now, through your expanded awareness, you have the capacity to not only understand that you will always be guided, but to also be involved in the selection of your guide. When your awareness was turned back, when your awareness was turned back up, I received your call for a guide based on your will. That was the start of your involvement, a selection based on your partnership with your will. I am now attempting to complete your partnership. You may refuse my guidance and this partnership, for which you would retain your current guidance from the shadows. In accepting the partnership and my guidance, you would obtain the ability to consciously interact with your will. The minimum level of interaction would be through an increase in your sixth sense and gut instinct, a significant increase. As you become accustomed and open to higher levels, your interactions would expand to include dialogue, such as this writing or internal verbal conversation. The voice used will be your own and is your insurance that you are conversing within your own line of existence. But you will be able to distinguish your will from your conscience. As your other abilities begin to appear, for which there will be many, I will guide you in their use and inform you when your actions are deviating from your will, for which you may override. However, you will have a sense of the impacts of doing so both before and during your override activity. As you gain confidence in my guidance and select more from my recommendations, you will notice things falling into place and working to your favor. This is a sign of your actions aligning to your will. Anything not falling to your favor will signify a misalignment for which you will not be surprised. How do you wish to proceed? What do you mean by proceed? Do you wish to proceed with the partnership, or do you have further questions? Well, now that I have you here and I understand a little further, I do have some questions, some more questions. One question is, were you assisting me in writing this manifesto? This writing has been in alignment with your will as part of your expansion. The process started with your shadow guide, and by following the intent of your will, you have now progressed to a level that affords you more involvement with your will, should you choose to accept it through me. I am not the focus here. I am but a conduit for closer interaction between you and your will. Okay, what is the purpose of the manifesto? For you and your will to determine your readiness for expansion, and now your willingness for more involvement with your will. There are others, but they are secondary, and there will be more. Okay, what are the dangers or downsides to the partnership? From your point of view, the increased responsibility of your conscious involvement with your will may seem, at times, to be a downside as compared to living blindly. But that is only a view of a limited perspective for which you are in the process of moving beyond. From my point of view, there are no downsides, as this is the next step in your expansion. How do you wish to proceed? Well, seeing as this resonates with me, and I too know this to be my next step, I wish to proceed with the partnership. Will I feel any different once the partnership is formed? And can we continue this current conversation? The partnership is now in place. Do you feel any different? No, not really. Give yourself time to explore it, and you will, for the better. And we can continue our conversation at any time. Okay, I do seem to have more clarity. Have my abilities been coming online for the last year or so? Yes. As you have been aligning with your will, you have opened yourself to expansion. This conversation we are having is but a formality, as you had already decided to partner with your will. This is your way of acknowledging it, and you are becoming more comfortable with it. You are now seeing past a reason for it and are beginning to allow it, which will open the floodgates, so to speak. Okay, how much influence do I have on the things going on around me? You influence everything around you, but your acceptance of that is only now starting to arrive. You are still awakening from living the life of struggle and emerging into the life of exploration, with your focus shifting from getting through the experience to diving into it. As you awaken further, your awareness of how you can manipulate things around you to increase your enjoyment of the experience will take on a life of its own. Your need to speed things along will slow down, allowing you to sense more of your options to explore and cater that experience to your liking. Okay, do you know what is coming? How things will play out over the next few days, weeks, and years? I have a sense of it from what your will intends. However, the specifics have yet to be decided by you. I do know you, your intent, your wants, and your tendencies. So I have a basis from which I can know what will happen. If I were to tell you what will happen, would that then become your experience instead of living it? By not telling you, yet having all the ingredients to knowing, I am in the optimal position to guide you to the experience you want and intend most. And I know that my telling you is not the experience you want and intend most. If I do tell you something, it will be because that will be in keeping with the experience you intend. Hmm. I think I can see where you're coming from. You're like a mentor who has a vast amount of experience guiding a novice with none. Telling the novice everything that will happen would become the experience over actually living it. That would eventually become boring and create a dependency on you. At the other end, if there was no guidance, the novice would be left to struggle and not really know where he was going. But with a mentor's guidance of hints and options, the novice can learn and experience with a purpose, thereby avoiding a dependency and aspire to one day match or exceed his mentor's abilities. Yes, this is an acceptable explanation of our partnership. Okay, so if you're guiding me, and based on what you've said, that implies you'd be informing me of anything I should be aware of or should be doing to maximize my experience, what else is there for me to do? You are the experiencer and the chooser of your experience. I am but the guide. You decide what to bring into your bubble of awareness, not I. You are constantly using your imagination to consider what to bring into your view. At present, your imagination is turned to nearly its lowest setting. This relegates you to a very small subset of your options. If you were to turn up your imagination, your options would greatly increase, providing you much more to do in deciding how your experience will proceed going forward. Would you like me to assist you in turning up your imagination? If I say duh, would you know what I mean? Our words are for your benefit, not mine. So you can be as snarky, belligerent, appeasing, crass, and humorous as you please. I respond to your intent. I will now beginning turning up your imagination and adjusting as appropriate. Okay, what do you mean by adjusting? You have grown used to your low setting, or more specifically, your mind has. To ensure you don't lose it or blow a gasket, I will gradually turn up your imagination, monitor your mental state, and adjust the setting according to what you can handle. Uh, did you just humor me with humor? Well, duh. I have the same sense of humor you do because I am you, but with countless lifetimes of experience to draw from, whereas you have only the one you currently are living. Okay, so why did you want to partner with me if I am so limited? Because having experience is not living an experience. Having experience is basically sitting on a shelf waiting to be useful. Partnering with you provides me a use. And since every experience is unique, we both will be gaining a new experience together. Plus, experiencing a move from base living through the entry into expanded living is the most prized of experiences. You don't know it yet, but you are in the process of taking on the most sought after thing of existence. Hmm. Okay, what do you mean of existence? Every being is in the pursuit of something new, not in existence. That means it must be created, like a hit song yet to be written. Before that song can be written, its potential author must be placed in a setting that inspires creation. That setting can take lifetimes to prepare, and yet there is no guarantee a hit song will be written. You are that potential author, living a life from which that song may be written about. Okay, so you and I are attempting to co-author a hit song? Not exactly, but I do enjoy knowing you think of it in those terms. You are the author by way of your unique imagination, while I accompany you with guidance and setting the stage for your inspiration. I will aid you in avoiding energy traps on your journey and assist you with finding your motivational path to a hit song of creation. Wow. Okay. So what am I doing now? Why am I not working on that song? You are working on it. Do you know anyone else who's written a manifesto such as this? No, not like this. But when does it go into action? It is already in action. It's making people think and to imagine this happening, where it can go and where it can go. It's opened you to its possibility to the point you are expecting it to happen. You are noticing its signs all around you and preparing yourself for the tipping point, the moment you accept your intent for this. But the deliberations are going on inside you. It is there you will make it happen first. You are thinking how this could be unfolding this way for you and waiting for others to accept it, or wondering why they aren't doing this for themselves. But what you fail to recognize is that they are each doing their own unique version of this. What you see of them is only what you allow yourself to see due to your level of acceptance. To see something different, you have to be different. You have to allow yourself to move to a different perspective. You are aware of that different perspective, but you have not accepted it into your knowing. It is not waiting on anyone else but you. You have but to grasp it. You have set a future event as your catalyst, when in your reality, you will trigger that event by your acceptance. Okay, hold up. Hold on that last point. You're saying I instigate events in our world by making decisions inside me. Yes, but it's in your view of the world. Others will have their own view of that event based on what they can accept. You are the center of your view of the world, where you have tricked yourself into believing that other people make most of the decisions, things happen to you through other people's actions, and you have little control of things. That is all a delusion so that you could live in this experience in a believable way. In actuality, your view of this world is built around you, where you perceive a commonality of view with the others. However, you have no way of knowing what each person is perceiving in their own view of the world. You communicate with them, but that communication has to go through your bubble to reach you, and your bubble is on a stage in a play. You may share an overall storyline on that stage with them, but that storyline hides their true nature while they are on stage with you. This play you're in is your play, with you as the producer and your multidimensional selves playing all the parts. You created this play, set the storyline, assigned roles for the characters, and you are directing the action by way of your will. Each character has its own view in the play, and the experience to play that character is offered to other beings, for which they are along for the ride. Your will is their will. They have some sense of free will, but they know not from which it originates, which is the origin of your will. They will continue playing their character until they too realize they can partner with their will to change their view to one more to their liking. Every one of you, every one of you agreed to play a character in this play that was only meant to be temporary. As each person awakens to this, they will be offered an opportunity to partner with their will and change the nature of the character they are playing, thereby being more involved in the changing of their storyline. But in your view, they are all you. So it is you who is changing your version of the storyline. Your will is making this change in your view so that you can experience something new. And seeing as the wills of all the characters in your view stem from the same origin, their storyline is also changing to afford them new experiences. The beings populating the characters in your view will continue to share in the new experiences through multi-dimensional versions of themselves, while multi-dimensional versions of you share in the experiences of their views. But this version of you in this here and now must know that the views of the others will take care of themselves through their own respective wills. Therefore, your will is taking care of this view, and that is where your focus can serve the highest good. That means you release your concern for their views and trust your will to serve their highest good through serving the highest good of your view. The ultimate sign of love is allowing others to play their roles according to the alignment of their views to the will that you also align to by focusing you on establishing a storyline in your view that shows the beings inhabiting your characters how you will treat them in your interpretation of highest good. I sense you struggling with this, so let me utilize one of your favorite methods, the analogy. Let's say we have 9 people who come together to act in each other's plays. Each will write, produce, and direct a play that all of you will act in. One person's play is exciting but scary. Another's is full of feeling but predominantly depressing. And still another's is all fast action with hardly any time to catch one's breath. For your play, you want to deliver a good mix of all the other plays, but with the emphasis on putting each person into a set of unique circumstances that will challenge them towards getting the most out of their experiences, and they each can feel how you want that for them while acting out their role. You let each actor play out their role, even if you don't agree or like how they do it, because that is their choice to explore. However, you constantly adjust the script to give them more of what they want, provided it doesn't interfere with the other actor's experience, and utilize all the actors in this showing in showing each other that there are other options. You are showing them the ultimate love and respect by allowing them to choose their experience, and yet you are steering the storyline to keep them all engaged and showing no bias against those actors who acted out differently than you would. Conversely, you could have been excessive with your direction cues and strict with how the roles conform to the storyline. In the end, one method shows love, trust, and freedom of movement, while the other does not. Okay, but how do I accept that I am the one directing the play in my view? You allow yourself to know it. Right now, you are looking for a reason for it. The reason is simply life. You are life, and life cannot be contained. If anyone else were to direct the play in your view, that would be containment of your life within their view. If you don't like what they serve up in your view, you will blame them. And that undercurrent would always be there in that scenario. The only alternative for the continuation of uncontained life is for life to have unlimited choices, and that can only be provided if you are in charge of a life with infinite perspectives to choose from. You are the only one who can direct you in your view and who has the option to change your perspective at any moment without containing the life you live. It has to be this way for life to want to live. Whether you see and accept this does not change the fact of it, only in how you live and experience it. Living the illusion of granting others the right to your life served its purpose and has now become a confinement of your life for which your will to live will not abide. You will live free of containment. The only question is, what will be your chosen view of it? You can accept your will of it and be consciously part of the world you wish to create, or live unconsciously while that occurs.
Wow.
I don't know about you, but my head's spinning.
Wow. That was interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because we're each, I mean, it fits a little bit with what we were talking about earlier. We each kind of see things in the world and experience things in the world from our perspective.
Mhm.
We each have our own, we've called them bubbles, you've called them bubbles before, we each have our own bubbles. But we're all in this experience together, but see things very differently.
Yeah. I could
Yeah.
just imagine.
Amazing.
I can just imagine if I had started with that at the beginning of this manifesto, it would have been no, you get that out of here.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
But it's kind of like my will has been breadcrumbing me to
Yeah.
this point,
Mhm.
and it's got all the facets of
Mhm.
all of it.
Yeah, it does.
It's just wow. It's like what? I'm in charge of my view. Yeah. How are you going to deal with it? Are you going to treat people like shit?
Mhm.
Are you going to handle your view respectfully towards everyone, no matter how they try to treat you?
Mhm.
I had this exact conversation today with somebody. Exactly. Exact conversation.
So you're already there.
Yeah, and
You're
I
already,
posted.
see, that's your view of it.
Yeah.
My view is I'm writing it down and sharing it.
Yeah. I had one person that posted something and I expanded on it. It was like a perspective of, being irritated by things. And it was all around, well, that's your perspective of things. You can go inside and figure it out because my goal is that things outside of me won't spark and irritate me. I've changed my mind from irritating myself.
Yeah, because that's basically what's happening is right now you are a multi-dimensional version of me playing in that role
Mhm.
so that you can communicate to me.
Yeah.
I may not like what you say, but that doesn't change the fact that I am trying to tell myself something.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Exactly.
I can run away from it all I want, but the multi-dimensional self within me and my will just place that message in someone else that I'll
Yes,
communicate with.
exactly. I said this almost, not in those words, but exactly to somebody else today.
Yeah. So you can't run away from what's out there. And this is what
No.
being in charge of your view doesn't mean you go around telling people what to do and
Mm-mm.
manipulating them.
Mm-mm.
That's not being in charge of your world. That's
No.
one way of doing it. And if by all means go and
If that's your
if
way,
that's,
then that's
if that's
yours.
what you want, because there are consequences
That's
to
yours.
everything. So
Mhm.
it's what I realized in this manifesto, what I'm building, the world that I'm showing is one where we have increased abilities and we understand that everyone has a right to live. Everyone has a right to their opinion.
Mhm.
And I'm not going to give my opinion to them so that they have to take it.
Right.
If we want to discuss something, that's because we come together in mutual respect and share it. If someone comes to you and is trying to push an opinion on you, that's just you testing yourself to, all right, how are you going to deal with them?
Mhm.
Right now, my way is to basically realize there's nothing to be gained from someone trying to push something on me.
Right.
I can sense it and I can go, okay, but basically I can either fight with them or I can just say thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing, but right now neither one of us are going to get anything from this.
Yeah, because the fighting with them and the trying to convince them, I'm just so past that, because
Yeah.
if I do that, I'm trying to convince myself.
Mhm.
If I engage in that, it's really because I'm trying to convince myself of it.
Yes.
I can express it, then I'm expressing it. I'm using them as a mirror to express it back to myself.
Mhm.
Otherwise, there'd be no reason to, because you're not,
Yeah.
not changing their minds or their perspectives, because they're only going to let in their bubble what it is that's going to fit their perspective.
Right.
We were just talking about a story where you can say nothing to somebody and they can misconstrue it, and say you said something and you're going like, I didn't say that. You didn't say it, but that's what they heard, their perspective as. Yeah.
But even that response from them is trying to communicate something to you.
Yes. Yes. Yeah, that's true.
To be aware of how you come across to other people.
Mhm.
Yes, of course, they may have their own thing going on, but they're still part of your bubble.
Mhm. Or they wouldn't be there.
The
Yeah.
thing is that we watch stuff, we read articles and read or watch, news broadcasts or whatnot, whether it's mainstream media or whatever,
Mhm.
and we try to bring that into our bubble.
Yeah.
And you can, but then you're gonna have to deal with the consequences of doing that.
Yeah.
So
Right.
basically, what I'm trying to do is clear out my bubble,
Mhm.
clear
Mhm.
out things, and resolve the most obvious things,
Mhm.
whatever they are, resolve them so that I can get a better sense of what's in my bubble, and then be ready. Okay, I'm ready to expand my bubble.
Mhm.
Minimize the bubble so you can expand the bubble
Mhm.
Well,
with what you want in there. Yeah.
yeah, so you can start bringing in more and more things into your bubble.
Mhm.
I don't.
Yeah.
Size is just one
Right.
quality of a bubble. I'm talking about make it more robust and bring in more variety and whatnot. But I want to do it in a way where the things don't conflict with each
Right.
other, and
Yeah.
everything treats each other with respect and
Mhm.
whatnot. That's
Mhm.
what I'm trying to show, and I'm showing it to myself, but I'm also showing it to you, the beings that are inside these characters that are inside my bubble,
Mhm.
so that you go, hey, I like that world.
Mhm.
I want to be in that world more.
Mhm.
Hey, go tell some other people, come on over
Mhm.
and join us in this world.
Mhm.
And then we start getting more and more people who are willing to play more characters and be part of the experience.
Yeah.
But you're not going to do that if you're the experience that you're trying to sell is crappy for
Yeah,
everybody.
exactly. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, and I was talking earlier to somebody and said, right now it's our time to go inside and do some of that clearing out of your bubble. I said, like clearing the dust bunnies from underneath the couch, get all those things out so you know what where your center is, what's in your bubble. And
All the stuff that's there by default that wasn't placed there intentionally.
right, exactly.
Yeah, I mean, and that goes back to the title of this, which was unconsciously conscious of your will,
Mhm.
Mhm.
or it could be consciously unconscious of your will.
It's your choice.
It's your choice. Basically,
Yeah.
what I'm by this part, and I mean, yes, I wrote this up, and it looks like a storyline, but I feel that's actually what occurred.
Mhm.
I'm I'm partnering with another part of me that's closer to my will as a conduit, so I can
Mhm.
be more involved
Yeah.
in what is going on in my bubble, which is my will. Everything that's happening in my bubble is via my interpretation of my will.
Mhm.
That's why I said the world you build in your view of the world is your interpretation.
Mhm.
And people come in and play multi-dimensional, versions of you come in and play um, the roles,
Mhm.
and they can go, yeah, I, this one's not really doing it for me. I'm out of here. And then
Yeah.
they exit. Now there's always people. There's always others lined up to say I'll do it. So there's always going to be someone there lined up to play those roles.
Yeah. Yeah. And some go and then later come back and
Well, it
there's
gives when you hear a lot of these terms about multidimensionality and
Mhm.
walk-ins and all that,
Mhm.
it really starts to make you go. And this is just my version of it. I'm not someone else tell
Right.
me something completely different. Who am I to tell them no?
Mhm.
This is just my version of it.
Mhm. Yeah.
And I have a feeling that right there is not done. I
Mhm.
mean,
Mhm.
obviously it's not done, but I mean, I felt like I just went, and it's going to continue.
Mhm.
where I left off in the conversation.
Well, it's interesting because you made a comment to me that once you have transmuted it, understand it, like agree with it or not agree with it, but kind of accept it, you can then write it. So it was an interesting process.
I've accepted it up to that point,
Yeah.
and that's it. I need to go further. I know
Yeah.
this. And I was grappling with it the whole time.
Mhm.
By not grappling with it, I don't want it. I was
Right.
trying to, I was grappling with the understanding of it,
Mhm.
of going, what do you mean I'm in charge of the whole
Mhm.
storyline within my bubble?
Yeah.
What about it? What about everybody else that's in there?
Yeah.
They're playing roles in your
Mhm.
bubble. You're playing roles in their bubble.
Yeah.
Your focus is in this bubble right here.
Mhm.
When you dream, where do you go? Where do you go? Where do you go when you dream?
Mhm.
Who knows? All over the place.
Another bubble.
Out of the bubble.
And I mean, we've talked about this before from way back.
Mhm.
Most people, on average, I'm not saying everyone, but most people, on average, are awake roughly 16 hours a day, right? 16 to 20 hours a day, right? Do you remember all those 20 hours, those 16 hours?
Mhm.
No, you probably remember bits and pieces here and there, and you could probably put it all together and maybe get a couple of hours out of it, but that's probably it.
Mhm.
Where are you the rest of the time?
Mhm. Yeah. Well, think about when you read. Sometimes you said you have to stay present. It's like part of us, even in an interaction within an hour, part of us wants to go,
Mhm.
somewhere else. Our mind wants to go somewhere else.
Oh,
Our
yeah.
spirit wants to go somewhere else.
When
We have
I
to
was
keep bringing ourselves back into the moment.
when I was reading the last episode, I mean I was reading and apricot just came up, and I'm like, I'm trying to read here, and then I kept reading, and then they got elephant, and I'm going, what?
So it shows.
And the
that
funniest thing is that shortly after that,
Mhm.
I saw apricots on YouTube and elephants, and I'm like, what is that? How is that popping up? I mean, I've been listening to music and all that,
Mhm.
and boating and stuff like that. Where is apricot coming from?
Yeah.
Where is elephant coming from? But it's actually, and it's not just one video;
Mhm.
it's multiple. And I'm going, wait a minute,
Mhm.
did I just manifest that?
Mhm. Yeah. Well, it goes to show we go places constantly. Yeah.
Yep.
Mhm.
So you can either continue to be unconscious that you are in charge of your bubble, or you can decide to partner with your will and say, no, I choose to be conscious because I want to be part of it. I want to be part of not just the living of it, but the actual
Mhm.
knowing, kind of which way to steer and whatnot. And that's, how do you do that without knowing what's coming and ruin all the living of it?
Mhm.
Well, you partner with another
Mhm.
another existence of you, well, your existence, but another version of you in that same existence line to be your guide
Mhm. Yeah.
that has all that and can figure all that out.
Mhm.
But
Yeah.
they know you as well as you know you, and they know what would ruin the surprise and what not, what they can tell you that, and plus they get to know you even better while really you're getting to know them.
Yeah. Yeah. Cool.
So,
Excellent.
Yeah.
Fun time.
yeah, that was different though. I mean,
Mhm.
it had the same kind of flavor, but that was different because that was
That felt different for sure to me too.
Mhm.
yeah. Well, I mean, what do you mean? Like, how did it?
Just this whole evening, just this whole interaction between us all feels different to me. Not bad, different, just different.
It feels,
Evolved, I guess.
what I feel like is we're weaving
Mhm.
right now. You've had that you've been working with them weaving, and you've been weaving in your daily interaction, and I've been, and they all
Mhm.
kind of flow together, right? But they're all
Yeah.
different expressions of it. So that's kind of how it feels like it's shifted a little.
Mhm.
I mean,
Why I believe our world has shifted.
yeah.
I mean, I told you about it the other day. I said I felt like something's different. Something like like the planet shifted.
Yeah.
And then we
Oh,
saw the
yeah.
video from Mr. MBB, and he was showing the
magnetosphere.
the magnetosphere,
Mhm.
and how some shock wave hit the Earth, and there was no
It wasn't
solar
from the
burst or
sun.
anything, but some burst of energy hit the magnetosphere, and it bent the lines of magnetism back around the planet and completely changed the direction of the lines of flux. And
I
then
saw people posting about the water, I guess was the water that usually goes one way was going the other way down the drain.
Oh, really?
They were asking Australia if they were reversed, and it didn't occur to me, but this was a couple of days ago. I was like, huh, that's kind of weird.
Yeah, because it was in the opposite direction of what we would get the solar wind
Yeah.
from. It was a force that was stronger. The energy was pushing, like projecting against what the solar wind would have been doing, and the magnetosphere just went crazy. So
yeah, I mean, he was showing us the lines and everything in that
Mhm.
video. And check out Mr. MBB 333.
yeah,
I feel like a different person in the last couple of days than I was 2 days ago, like
you too.
severely different.
yeah, in a good way. But
Yeah, very
different.
good way.
Yeah, very different. I mean, the last 2 days we were talking about this peaceful, effortless kind of motion through the day, and even feeling like I didn't do anything, but yet looking back and going like, yeah, really accomplished, a lot, but it wasn't out of effort, and it was this blissful feeling. It was just peaceful.
And that's, I mean, to me, that's the start of manifestation, because it becomes much more effortless, and then more and more. Before you know it, it's just done. Oh, well, look, I already did it.
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, and we ran out of another story. We ran out of one kind of birdseed that we normally use, and I couldn't order it, and
Couldn't find it
anywhere. So he said, well, why don't you pull out and see what was in those and see what we can find, maybe that's a similar mix. So I did some analysis and everything. Ended up the two kinds that we have overlap each other and give us everything.
And they have everything in it. We just didn't know it. We were doing them separately. We were using we called the one cheap seed because it was cheaper, and we were buying 40-pound bags for the price that the other ones were in a 10-pound bag. So we called it the cheap seed. We just said it was cheap.
Yeah.
But it had everything in those other two bags. We just didn't know it.
Yeah. And so it was like we had it all along, and it was like, okay, well, that was easy. We didn't have to buy it. We already have plenty of it in stock.
So now we just need to mix those two. That's it.
So, and it was even a simpler process than we were doing before. So it's just been stuff like that for many days now. It's just like, oh yeah, we've got that, or oh yeah, we can do it this way. The luckiest people I've I seem to remember somebody saying that.
Well, man, just talked about things going into your favor.
Yeah.
It just seems like things are falling into place.
Yes.
To me, it's not, you don't make it happen.
No.
You allow it to happen.
Yeah.
We get all this other crap out of the way so that we can see that this can happen. And what you do, you start aligning to your will, and your will says, I mean, it's almost like training your dog. It basically gives you a treat when you're doing something that aligns with what it wants, and it doesn't when you. It makes it more difficult when you're doing things that doesn't align with your will.
Yeah, because it's not figuring it out and efforting through it at all. It's very much a flow. Very much a flow.
Yeah, the writing of this definitely felt different. I'm still, because I was writing, still working on it all the way up until we started. In fact, you two were talking for half an hour before I came in here. So I don't know what that means yet. I need to sit with it. I'm still got to continue that conversation.
But that was beautiful anyway, because Jenny and I got to share some of these things, which it fits exactly what you just read. Exactly. So we wouldn't have had that half hour to, converse, share those stories
And I was so close when you
Mhm.
sent me that text
Uh-huh.
saying,
Postpone.
are you going to be coming out, or
Mhm.
are we going to need to postpone it? I was so close to saying, probably need to postpone it. When I had
You had it.
16 pages.
Mhm.
I just needed that last page.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Good.
Mhm.
Good. And all works as it should.
Always.
I almost let myself stress. Almost.
Almost.
I wouldn't
Good
let
thing you caught yourself
I
before you
wouldn't
could
let-
stress. That's
I wouldn't
great.
let Fussy out. I wouldn't let Fussy. No, Fussy, no.
I'm loose.
No. Get it off me! Get it off me! Don't make me break out that reporter.
Yes, exactly. That's what I was thinking.
Soul man.
Yeah, soul man.
Soul man.
All right, cool. Are we complete?
I think we are.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Bye, everybody.